What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. So as the thumbnail and the video title say it all, and since we'll be getting a season 7 with more content than any previous season has ever provided, I'll be going over some of the weapons that I would really like to see in the upcoming season. So far, we know that we're going to get 2 maps, which is considered a personal best for DICE when speaking of Battlefield 2042. So I'm assuming that we get more weapons as well, which absolutely makes sense. Some of the weapons that I'm going to talk about today are BF4 and BF3 weapons, and some of them are just my favorite weapons. So considering that you've clicked on this video, you already got some weapons on your mind as well. Make sure to comment down below and let me know what weapons do you want to see in Battlefield 2042 Season 7. Just like always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and let's get on with the video. So I always like to start with the game's order. So we've got secondary weapons first. Season 5 brought L9CZ, which is a decent weapon, but I believe that we've got enough already. I mean, we really don't need more secondary weapons for now. Not only do we have tons of secondary weapons compared to other weapon categories in BF 2042, but mastering them is challenging as well, so I guess the best decision for Season 7 weapon selection will be forgetting about a new secondary. Some people might disagree with me, but I think we've got better options. However, if DICE wants to add another sidearm to the game, I've got some personal favorites. Starting off with Beretta M9, we all know it. It's an iconic weapon that has gone through decades of service thanks to constant upgrades, and it's still in service in the US and a lot of militaries around the world. It's a 9mm pistol, and I believe could be a great choice if DICE intends to add a sidearm. My other favorite pistol is 6 Hour's P226, which was one of the weapons that competed in a program for replacing the infamous M1911 by the US military. M9 won the competition narrowly because the P226 was in fact a more expensive option. But yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite pistols, and I absolutely love it when I see it in a game, let alone having it in Battlefield 2042. Another sidearm that I would love to have in BF 2042 is Unica 6 from Battlefield 4, if you guys remember that. Here's a picture of the weapon. Back in the day in Battlefield 4, I always considered this to be a midline between Magnum 44 and the MP412 Rex in terms of firepower and rate of fire. It was the perfect balance between the two, I suppose, and even unlocking it was cool, and the map of Sunken Dragon. Those were the good old days, really. Anyway, I don't want you to get caught in BF4 memories because that will probably lead to depression for any Battlefield fan, so let's just move on. Alright, for the submachine guns, I've got a handful of classic weapons in mind, starting off with MP5. Yeah, MP5 is old, I know, but so is the AKS-74U, right? We've already got some old weapons in BF 2042, the AKS-74, the SVD, M60, RPK, and the list goes on. So yeah, I don't mind having some old weapons. The MP5 is still in service in many militaries. It even has a cool version with an integrated suppressor called the MP5 SD, which is made for special forces, and that'll be really fun to have despite the chances of actually having that in the game are pretty much slim. There's also the UMP45, which wasn't the best of SMGs in Battlefield 4 and wasn't my favorite due to low fire rates, but I believe it's an iconic weapon and everyone will love to see it in Battlefield 2042. Ever since the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, everyone loves this thing. I guess it could have been a vault weapon just like the P90, but then again, it's not too late, right? Speaking of classics, I guess we better give newer weapons a chance as well, and there's a modern SMG that I absolutely adore, and that's the MP7. High rate of fire, fast as duck, and it looks really good. It's literally everyone's dream to have one or even to shoot one. It was one of my favorite weapons in BF4, and I won't lie, if they want to add a modern and badass SMG, there is nothing better than the MP7. Now moving on to assault rifles, honestly, because the VHX D3 was newly added to the game, I don't think adding another AR would be appropriate, but I don't think DICE wants to be appropriate, so why bother skipping the ARs? I actually have some cool suggestions for the ARs, regardless of being against adding a new one. But yeah, starting off with my favorite BF4 assault rifle, the F2000, which was honestly the best AR in the game in my opinion. It was a perfect balance between rate of fire and stability, and regardless of not being a very popular weapon, at least in video games, I really want to have a chance to play it in BF 2042. But it's not over yet. There was an AR that I specifically hated in BF4, the Ace-23. For some reason, I never liked that weapon. I tried to give it multiple chances, I really did, but it just wasn't my type of weapon. However, it was the main AR for so many people, and it was arguably one of the best assault rifles in the game, so having that in BF 2042 wouldn't hurt, and this time I might like it, who knows. And probably the rarest weapon in real life in today's list is AN-94. Some people argue that only 100 was produced and that's it, so It's iconic and rare as hell at the same time, but you can find one in almost every single shooting game, except for Battlefield 2042. So yeah, that would be cool to have as well. Another legendary AR is FAMAS, which had a crazy rate of fire in Battlefield 4 and was considered kind of a rival for the AEK back in the day. Wasn't a fan, and I've never been. I believe FAMAS just looks insanely ugly. It really is, and the AEK was just generally a better weapon. However, I just want to see it in BF 2042. I don't know why, but it feels like it's going to be interesting. Also, we've got the classic M4 as an option here. We've already got BF3's M16, which is a pretty decent weapon already, so the chances for having a weapon pretty much similar to that are slim. But since M4 is one of the most popular weapons in the world, I thought maybe having it in this list would be nice. Alright, it's LMG time. The LMGs already have a reasonable diversity in Battlefield 2042, but if I'm supposed to add some more, then I've got two big boys from Battlefield 4. First one will be the M249 SAW, which stands for Squad Automatic Weapon. It was a high rate of fire and popular weapon in BF4, and I've just seen so many people wanting this so bad, so this one's for them. And the other one will be the HK MG4. You can basically find this weapon in every single shooting game from Ghost Recon to Call of Duty, but in Battlefield 4 specifically, it was a brutal and aggressive weapon. Wouldn't hurt to see it in Battlefield 2042 as well. Moving on to DMRs, honestly I don't think we need a new DMR at this point. The G428 was added to the game as a part of Season 5, and I believe it's time for other categories of weapons to get a new member. However, I feel like BF 2042 DMRs are really missing the SKS. The thing was super cool, insane rate of fire, a true close-range DMR unlike the G428, and will be definitely OP if they want to import it straight from Battlefield 4. That's the one and only DMR that's worth adding to the game at this point. Now we've got sniper rifles, and I believe they really need more attention. Back in the day in BF4, we used to have a variety of sniper rifles, but now the options are limited, and I guess it's finally time to pay some attention to them. I've got a list of 4 sniper rifles that I really want to have in the game. The first one is the Shytech M200 Intervention, or better known as the SRR61 in Battlefield. Absolutely legendary, probably the most loved sniper rifle in the gaming industry. Definitely a rare one to come by in real life, but in BF4, it was the most accurate sniper rifle with the lowest amount of bullet drop possible. It was something like the DXR in BF 2042, and yeah, I'd love to see it in Battlefield again. Another very popular sniper rifle in Battlefield 4 was the M98B. I never found it very fun to play, just like the Ace-23, but so many people loved it and it was their main sniper rifle. We've also got the M40, which was a very versatile rifle, and the L115, which was the most balanced sniper rifle in Battlefield 4. All in all, I believe at least one sniper rifle is a must for Season 7, because the diversity in 2042 just sucks. And lastly, I'm not a big fan of shotguns, especially in BF 2042, but if I can choose only one to be added to the game, that would be the SPAS 12. Now the reason for that has nothing to do with its performance in previous modern day Battlefield titles, despite being one of the best in almost all of them, but it's because I believe it's one of the most iconic shotguns in the world. It's just so badass, and I guess having this particular shotgun wouldn't hurt in BF 2042. So that was the end of my list, but I'm pretty much sure that you guys have some more weapons in mind, arguably even better weapons, so make sure to comment down below and let me know what weapons do you prefer the most to be in Battlefield 2042. Thanks for watching, hope you're having a great weekend, and until next time, stay cool.